So tear me apart, but don't let me go. It's the way you say we're already on our own. An empty embrace, the love left behind. It's in the way you say that no one ever survives. We pretend to love what we become.
Welcome to the Face of Music Podcast, everybody. My name is Matt, and I'm your host. Welcome to episode 38. Today, we have a brand new top 10. We have some new shows to announce, some music news, finally. And today's special guest, one of my favorite Long Island bands, Uchikatsu, is finally on the show. Here we go. You ready? Let's do it. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Face Music Podcast. What's up? What's up? And how are all of you doing? Hope you listened to last week's episode and learned about one of the most badass metal chicks alive, Miss Nika Rogers of Metal Nation. She is quite literally always talking to some of the biggest superstars of this genre that we call metal. Please make sure you go give her a follow. She works incredibly hard doing what she does, and she does it all while working her career full-time and being a full-time mom, and does Metal Nation for free. Nika, you are fucking awesome. It was such a pleasure having you on the podcast, and I hope that we can do it again sometime. Man, it is hard to believe that we are already halfway through January, and we are just hurtling towards February at this point. Christmas feels like it was last week, and the last year was just as fast as a blink of an eye, but here we are somehow. How's everybody's resolutions coming? You sticking to them? Did you even bother to make them this year? I mean, for me, it's pretty simple, I want to focus on me. I want to get a job. I want to release my music. Play out of state with whatever band allows me to, whether that be if I start an original project or Project Zero, whatever one gets me out there faster. I want to start a family too. I've been saying that for a long time. I want to start a family, but just financially, it hasn't been right for me the past few years. Even before losing my job last year, it hasn't felt right because of the way the world's been. It's just everything's getting more expensive. Nothing's getting more affordable. But, I'm turning 38 in a couple months, and I can't wait around forever. So family time's got to start, But it seems like a lot, but hopefully that get a job one changes soon. I had an interview yesterday. It was a joke of an interview. The people couldn't have been more rude to me. So, 60 seconds in and out the door. That was a new one. I was kind of blown away, but I have a good feeling about some stuff very soon, which, that'll 100% change everything else that I have planned. But putting that positivity in motion this year, my friends, there is just no other way. Last year fucked me up right at the start. 10 days in, I did not expect to be, out on my ass. But you know what it didn't do? It didn't break me, and it didn't beat me. It was insanely difficult. It was extremely depressing. The whole last year was extremely depressing, but it was also a challenge, and you know what they say about hard times, right? And we're not going to let hard times break us, are we, my friends? Right? Right. You just got to keep going. You got to find the light in the tunnel. You got to keep pushing forward. Do whatever it takes to get you there, whether it's, turning on a really cool podcast or listening to music, or both. Hell, I mean, that's what I do right here. That's why I do this right here. It's an outlet for me to be able to escape my daily bullshit, to find some awesome new bands to bring to you guys. And I love doing that. I my main thing I always worked in was customer service, right? So, whether that be just, cooking for people, or whether it be working in retail, banking, whatever the fuck it may be, I have always been in the industry of helping someone else. And that's what I like to do. So I like to help bands out by making, turning people onto them. And I like to turn you guys onto those bands. Music is something that's meant a lot to me in my life, and it always will. Honestly, it always will. But I feel like it's one of those things where like you kind of need the catalyst sometimes. You kind of need someone to be like, "Hey, I'm going to force feed you these bands." And you could either choose to listen, or you could just turn it the fuck off. I don't care. But if you're a music lover like me, if you're someone who's constantly looking for that next new thing, that band that you could watch grow, or the band that's been around a while that you had no idea about, and you just found, just like that, your new favorite band, that's the kind of shit that I live for. That's why I want to do this. It's fun. It's a really good time, and I've met a lot of really cool people by doing it. Made a lot of connections, interviews every single week. It's a fun time for me, and the field work, I guess you can call it, of like going on Spotify or YouTube or Instagram and just fielding out bands, just checking them out, listening to them. It's so gratifying. It's so gratifying. Um, I enjoy it. I like discovering to see what's out there. I have been in local bands since I was 17 years old. That's 20 years now. That's a long, long time. I mean, that's not even if you want to count the garage band days before I even started playing out. I started playing out when I was 17, 18 years old. Prior to that, I mean, I was in garage bands since I was like 14, 15. So it's going a long time, but finding new music, listening to new music, seeing where music grows, seeing where it starts, seeing where creativity blooms. It's one of the coolest things that we can do in this life. Whether that be music, whether that be art, whether that be cooking, anything that we can create as human beings. It's one of the coolest experiences. So I encourage all of you guys, if you're looking for something new, if you're feeling stagnant, go check out something new. Do something you've never done before. Put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, or just go digging. Go do something creative. Go take a picture. Take a picture and go on a photo editing app and fuck around with it and see what you can create just by tweaking little things here and there. And you never know. That might inspire you. That might inspire you to learn more about photography. It might inspire you to learn more about filtering and editing. But it's something as simple as just taking a picture on your phone and seeing where you go. It's art. That's all it is art. So I encourage all of you guys, if you're in a rut, if you're struggling with the resolutions and all that shit, just do something different. Do something different to channel your energy in a different way, and I promise you, there's gonna be a smile on your face in no time. Today, guys, we have a lot going on. We have a brand new top 10, as we always do. I have some big shout outs to deliver 2 weeks into the new year. So we finally have some music news to talk about. There's a lot, but I only picked a couple things because there has been a whole fucking bunch. We got some tour announcements. We got a lot going on. So let's jump right in to episode 38. But first, a word from today's sponsor. Here we are, everybody. We are in 2026. The new year, new me is in full effect. Our resolutions are set, our gym memberships are bought, but the reality is that most New Year's resolutions will fade by February. But real change doesn't come from being somebody new, it comes from small, consistent habits that create growth over time. One thing for me that I always had to work on was finding a way to pay my bills on time. And I know that seems silly, but I can never make it happen. So I would always forget about what I had to pay every month with streaming services. So what I started doing was, rather than wait for the potential of paying late or going negative in my account, I opened up a new account just for bills. I took a total of my monthly expenses, and I knew that by the end of the month, I needed to have that amount in the new account. Divide that by four, and every week I would just put 1/4 of my total in, and I haven't missed a payment in a long time. It took time to get used to, but now it's such a common practice that it's become routine. And therapy works in a pretty similar way to that. It isn't a quick fix, but it is a habit that we need to build over time. A habit that helps us grow and understand ourselves and build lasting support for our well being. BetterHelp is a trusted sponsor for today's video and a very simple starting point for starting therapy today. It is so simple to get started. You fill out a questionnaire and you'll match with a therapist in as little as a few days. BetterHelp matches you with a therapist based on your preferences, their own clinical experience, and over a decade of matching expertise. You can switch your therapist at any time and no extra cost to you if it's not the right fit. There's over 6 million people who have gotten help from BetterHelp, the platform that you can trust. Click the link in the description, or you can go to betterhelp.com/facethemusic and get 10% off your first month of therapy. Fans, friends, if you would like to be a guest on the show, please email me. Or you could text me if you have my phone number, or you can even hit me up on Instagram if you so choose. But let's set it up, though. Just a heads up, I hit the ground running in 2026. I did 4 weeks of interviews at the end of December, so I'm a full month ahead of time. So today, if I were to record something, it would not be out for a month. That's not to say the episodes. The episodes are weekly, but interview-wise, interviews are a month out now. So, yeah, I mean, if you are a band and you want to come on and talk about your new music, your old music, your story, whatever the hell, like, I would love to have you. If you're a friend who's like, you know what, I think it would be fun to just kind of fuck around and see how this goes, come on. I'm more than open to it. I would love to have you. Don't be shy about it. Just hit me up and we will set something up. And sometimes not having a discussion to talk about in particular leads to the best discussions. So, let's see where it goes. I do want to make mention 2026. I'm shooting for the absolute fucking stars in 2026. I'm trying to get interviews with a lot of big names if possible. If not, it's, it is what it is. That's where the wind blows, but I do not want to have it come down to the way it ended in 2025, where I have a million people hitting me up right at the end and I can't book anybody. I don't want to be turning people away. I don't want to be having to have my schedule go haywire either. So since it's nice and early in the year, let's take advantage of this. So please email me at theftmpod@gmail.com, the Face Music Podcast on Instagram, whatever you choose. But I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I look forward to getting you all on the show. Now, I just want to take a moment, as I do every single week, and I want to welcome all of my first-timers. It is such a pleasure to welcome you to the Face Music Podcast and into the Face Music family. I hope that you like what you hear today, and please make sure that you go check out everything from 2025. It was a hell of a year. What did we get done? I think around 40 weeks last year. It was nuts. But on top of that, well, obviously this is episode 38, so we didn't get 40 weeks, but you know what I mean. We got a lot of shit done last year, and it hasn't even been a full year yet. I think February 10th is going to be the first official year, which is just blowing my mind to think about that. But there was a lot of cool shit from last year, and if you're brand new, if this is your first episode, go back and listen to it. I have so many unsigned bands that I did interviews with, so much good music. You missed my interview with Chris Contos of Machine Head, which, if you're like me, that's a huge deal. Machine Head is one of my favorite bands of all time. And Jason Bittner of Shadows Fall, another one. Dude, he, in my list of Mount Rushmore as drummers, like Jason Bittner is on that list. These two guys were so humble. They were so cool. They had great stories and a lot of insight. For a lot of the up-and-coming bands, there's a lot of insight. So go check it out. And then this year, just be prepared, because I'm shooting, like I said, way higher than I should. I'm punching way above the weight class. I want to go big, go big or go home. I'm doing this for a reason, The point is to go as big as possible. So if you are new, it's going to be an exciting time for you. But I just also would like to say to you that if you are new, if you aren't familiar with this podcast, I value every single second that you spend with me. So when you choose to spend your time listening to my podcast, I promise not to waste the time that you've invested into me. Let's turn off all the outside world just a little while every week, couple hours, right? Fuck politics. Fuck the news. Fuck your boss. Don't do that because you get HR call on you. But whatever happened at work, just leave it at work. Don't worry about that shit when you're here. The Face of Music podcast is all about music. I'm here to talk with you about all things hard rock and metal. Expose you to some great music, including at least 3 independent artists every single week, sometimes more. And bring you some fun and entertaining discussions with artists that you may know and love to artists that you may not know yet, but I think you definitely should. So while I'm investing in these other bands and you're investing in me, give them a shot. Go look them up, follow them on Instagram. I promise you're going to have a good time here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I sincerely hope you enjoy. Now, for all of my returning listeners, welcome back. Thank you for listening every single week, sharing my stuff on social media, for listening right now to another episode of the Face of Music podcast. I love you all, and I'm so lucky and so thankful to have your support. I do not, and nor will I ever, take that for granted. Are you guys ready for some new shit? Are you ready for some fantastic new music? I got 10 of them for you today, as always. 4 unsigned and 6 from the bands that we already know and love. It is time for today's top 10. And today we have, oh my god, we have music from Bleed the Gods, from Pariah, from Fire from the Gods, Lamb of God, Kill Baron, Bubblegum Chainsaw, ZP from Dragon Force, The Devil Wears Prada, Redefined, and Black Veil Brides. As most of us are already familiar, YouTube is a pain in the ass with copywriting. So they have become a real problem. If you are currently listening on YouTube, most weeks, I won't say all weeks, but most weeks, you will not hear the clips from the top 10. If you do, it's a rare experience. Enjoy. But to hear the episode as intended and get the full Face Music experience, please go check out on Spotify. Speaking of Spotify, I have a full playlist of every single song that has been featured in every top 10 since week 1. So when you're done listening to today's episode, head on over and check out a carefully curated and truly kick-ass playlist full of the best hard rock and metal music featured right here on the Face of Music podcast. The link, as always, will be at the end of our top 10, and it's parked in the links in my bio on all of my social media. Number 10, here we go. Kicking us off today out of Cincinnati, Ohio, but based more recently out of Hollywood, California, they're a band that started in 2006 but looks fresh out of 1982. The band takes image from, they take tons of inspiration from like Kiss, Motley Crue, the body paint, makeup, the studded clothing, leather, everything. The long hair, if you don't know who I'm talking about the Black Veil Brides. These guys have been a controversial band in the metal scene for about the last 20 years or so. Admittedly, I have never been a big fan of these guys. I always kind of just like, yeah, they're a Motley Crue ripoff band, whatever. It wasn't until the past few years where I really actually took notice to these guys. When they came out, they were kind of made fun of a lot. Their music wasn't great. Andy Biersack came across as a pretentious, just dick. He still kind of does, to be honest with you, but he does have his moments of insight, and it's, I'm glad he got over it. Whatever it was that he had to get over, I'm glad he got over it. But more and more people over the last couple of years, I would say maybe like the last 5 or 10, have really started to see how talented these dudes were, myself included. They started to get really heavy. They started to show how genuinely fucking good they are at their instruments. Just shreddy dual solos between the guitarists and shit. Black Veil Brides started to have a hell of a resurgence. In 2026, they continue to climb. They continue to impress, and man, they continue to just get heavier and better. Honestly, this song just dropped within the past week. It is a fucking rager, and I hope you all enjoy. If this is a band where you're like, why the fuck, Matt? Why Black Veil Brides? Well, I'm gonna do the same for you that I had to do for myself, and just open your mind to it, okay? This song slaps. It's good. It's real good. At number 10, my friends, this is Black Veil Brides out of Hollywood, California. This is their brand new shit. This is called Certainty. Number 9, we have a band that's been in the metal news quite a bit lately due to allegations against vocalist AJ Channer being involved in a domestic dispute situation. Channer has released a public statement regarding the charges, and things seem to be conveniently fine on his end, despite what the charges actually are. But let's not let that overshadow the band. Okay, if you know anything about this, you know who I'm talking about, you know the situation. Don't let that reflect on the band poorly. The band didn't do what he did. Um, Channer in early 2025 was replaced by Mike Terry of Volumes. And now, aside from recent controversies, if you're unfamiliar with the band, they are a powerhouse hard rock and metal band out of Austin, Texas, whose lyrical themes usually deal with things like unity, social justice, perseverance, and hope for change. The band has not changed their message despite the recent events, and they've come back stronger than ever with a brand new single with a hand in writing by Clint E. Lowry of Seven Dust. That's my dude right there. Clint is such a good guitarist. He's such a good songwriter. And everything he touches turns to gold. So it was no surprise to hear that little bit of Seven Dust chunk in this. But they still have Mike Terry at the vocal helm. It seems as though he might be the guy going forward. It just hasn't been permanently announced yet. But our number 9 song of week 38, from Fire from the Gods, this is the brand new one, Human. Coming in at number 8, guys, I won't lie to you, there's not a lot of information available about this group, and debatably, that may be for the best, adding to the overall mystique of the band. Self described as heavy music's most cute and brutal solo project, Bubblegum Chainsaw blends elements of classic slamming deathcore and metalcore with poppy synths, bouncy drum breaks, and a wide range of vocals. Bubblegum Chainsaw hails from the swamps of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I found this artist right before creating the top 10 this week, and at first listen, it took me right back to like 2003 to 2005 metalcore, when everything was just synths, crushing breakdowns, and sub drops that you feel in your guts for days. Just straight up like crabcore type shit, early Acing Alexandria. It was fun to listen to, and it made me want more. So it also made me feel incredibly nostalgic, and I'm a fan of that. I have a feeling that you guys are going to share a lot of that same sentiment with me. I feel like we're, on the same boat. Coming in at number 8 this week, all the way from the dirty Delta of Mississippi, this is Bubblegum Chainsaw with Bury Me in November. At number 7 this week, we have a band who are absolutely no strangers to the Face of Music podcast. These guys have been tearing shit up since making their appearance last year. They're about 4 shows into their live career. They have 3 songs released streaming currently, and they're one of Long Island's newest, but definitely one of Long Island's best hardcore bands. I'm talking about the one and only Bleed the Gods. Sam and the boys are killing it right now. They're making some great tunes. They are making themselves known live. I'm so hyped for it. I encourage all of you weekly to go follow any talent that you aren't already familiar with, and this week is no different. Go follow Bleed the Gods and keep up with everything these dudes have going on. Our number 7 spot this week goes out to the boys. Keep doing what you're doing, and you always have a home with the Face Music Podcast, my friends. Brand new one from Bleed the Gods. This dropped yesterday. This is called No Compromise. At number 6, this is another new one. I just stumbled on this yesterday. So new, in fact, that the artist's debut EP just dropped January 6th of 2026. It's entitled Swan Song. The artist is Pariah, a solo project of Quinn McGraw. The project is described as a sonic exorcism born of grief, addiction, depression, and spiritual collapse, according to his Spotify profile. Quinn is a multi-genre bending artist from metalcore to alternative, dark pop, and more, and he says his music is quote-unquote heavy music for heavy hearts. Right away, I was drawn into what I was hearing with today's track. It had groove, it had riffage, great drumming, a great mix of everything together. The vocals were calm and mildly unnerving, and it was an easy choice to put this on today's top 10. I hope that all of you guys like what you hear, and I also encourage you to all explore your favorite genres. Click on the names you don't know, because there's some incredible music out there just waiting for you. Friends, at number 6 this week, we have the brand new one from Pariah off of the brand new EP Swan Song. This is Pendulum. Coming in at number 5, we have a voice that I will call legendary and extremely recognizable if you were an avid metalhead or a Guitar Hero fan back in the early 2000s. A little backstory here. There was a time when Dragon Force had such a chokehold on pop culture because of Guitar Hero that nothing else mattered. From friends groups to talk shows, it quickly became the hardest song to ever play, and by that level of exposure, it sent Dragon Force into the fucking stratosphere. The song was originally tracked by the band on their album Inhuman Rampage that came out in 2006. It was the first song on the album, Through Fire and Flames. Sonically, it was an assault of rapid fire drumming, insane guitar work, perfect synth, and keyboards underneath, complementing the guitars and the bass, and then there were the vocals. At this point, we were still on what was the most famous lineup of the band. We had Herman Lee and Sam Topman on guitars, Frederick Lecirc on bass, we had Vadim Bruzanov on keyboards, Dave McIntosh on drums, and ZP Theart on vocals. I don't know if I've ever said that man's last name correctly. Sue me. Don't. I can't afford that shit. But The lineup today is pretty different. Sam and Herman are the only remaining members. They're still on guitar, but let's talk about ZP. Okay, the man's voice has always been powerful. It's been epic, carries so much melody, and it just soars. It really does. I would compare him probably to being this generation's Rob Halford, but just not nearly as known as Halford. Um, but we don't have many of those in my generation. After he left Dragon Force, that was a bit of a bummer, and I hadn't heard anything else from him until now. And that's been a long time now. They've had Mark Hudson for a little bit. They had a couple guys filling in through the years, but ZP, he just dropped 2 brand new tracks. One of which is a cover of the classic Through Fire and Flames, and it's just reimagined his way, I guess you could call it. It still pays plenty of homage to the original, so you're not really missing much. You just, the drummer is phenomenal, but he's not as good as Dave McIntosh. Like, that guy was a fucking beast on that track, or all the Dragon Force stuff that he touched. And the guitars obviously aren't as complex as Sam and Herman made them, but they still carry a lot of the same ideas. Go check it out; it's worth it. It's a good listen, especially if you want to compare that to the original. His voice now compared to his voice 20 years ago. But the other song that he just dropped, it's an original. It's a brand new one, which proves that he has not lost his touch at all, and he should still be regarded as one of the best in the genre. I apologize, by the way, for the book report on Dragon Force, but the man deserves his flowers for the impact that he has had. Today, at number 5, I give you the brand new one from ZP Theory. This is Dark to Light. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. At number 4 this week, this one literally dropped today. Just popped on the Spotify, and there it was, and immediately it made me laugh. Not only because of the song title, but because of who wrote the song and gave it that title. The Devil Wears Prada have been dealing with pretty irate fan base the past few years with their new releases and live shows for either not writing like they used to or not playing enough of their old stuff. Focusing too heavily on the latter half of their career. Well, today, they released a good old-fashioned fuck you in every way possible. They dropped a heater called Play the Old Shit. A song about whining fans who do nothing but complain about the band's sound, wanting them to go back to a heavier and more chaotic sound, and doing so in the style of classic Prada. It is so good. It caught me completely off guard, and it definitely took me back to Summer of Loud last year, where everybody was having a great time at the show, except most Prada fans, it seemed. My friends, this is a good one. It's a very fun track. It's so heavy. It's so classic Prada in the best ways, mixing it with all the new Prada stuff. At number 4 this week, this is The Devil Wears Prada, and this is Play the Old Shit. Let's take a second, do a quick recap of our top 10 so far before we jump into the final 3 songs of the week. At number 10, we had Black Veil Brides with Certainty. At number 9, we had Fire from the Gods, Human. Number 8, we heard from Bubblegum Chainsaw, Bury Me in November. Number 7, we heard from my friends in Bleed the Gods with No Compromise. Number 6, we heard from Pariah with Pendulum. Number 5, we heard ZP Theater with Dark to Light. And at number 4, we just heard from The Devil Wears Prada, Play the Old Shit. Heading into our top 3 songs. At number 3 this week, we hear from a band that I have been singing high praise for about 5 years now. A band that blew me away when I found them, and they've only gotten better and better since. Also, one of the few bands keeping the nu metal sound alive and well. This band hails from Greenville, South Carolina. They have been around for a while now, and I've also featured their music on the show a few times. I interviewed their singer, Jordan Caparel, before, which was so much fun. Jordan is a fantastic human being. He is so down to earth, so humble, and I loved every second of getting to talk to him and get to know him. So go check that interview out, by the way. It was very insightful, and it explains a lot about bands coming up and having a taste and wanting more, The band, though, is Redefined. If you've never heard of these guys, go check them out. They are incredible. They're a powerhouse of a band. But they just dropped a brand new EP, and it is going to kick your ass. Normally, I would get a new single from these guys on the show as soon as it drops, but I had all my end of year stuff going on when they released their first couple singles. So I missed a few weeks. I did the Linkin Park episode. I did my end of 2025. I didn't really do too many top 10s towards the end of the year, but the EP just dropped, and you can all go listen to the entire thing now rather than just one song at a time. I think that's fair, right? So the song I'm going to play for you, the first time I heard it, I felt how it was going to feel in a live setting. Super bouncy, groovy, hard as fuck choruses with lighter verses. This is going to be a prime Pit song. Like a mix of Head PE and Mudvayne. The band they just had their EP release show last weekend, and my lord, it looked absolutely sick. Also, February 20th, for my Long Islanders, if you happen to be in South Carolina, and for my South Carolinians, if you want to go have a raging good time, Redefined is playing with my boys in Resistor, and also Yosemite and Black out of Atlanta, Georgia. Get to that show. It's going to be wild shit. The whole night's going to be absolutely crazy. Get down to that show. Take pictures, take videos, send them to me. I wish I could be there. I am extremely jealous of anybody who walks in the door that night. But back to the top 10. My friends, at number 3. This is off of Still Dreaming, the brand new EP by Redefined. This is the first single called Thoughts. At number 2, another band that really is no stranger to the podcast anymore. They are interview alums, and I believe this is going to be the 3rd or 4th time on the top 10. I am big on these guys. Great sound, truly great people. They're all about the music, and I think that these guys are going to have one hell of a ride with what they do. Out of Maryland, we have Kill Baron. Kill Baron just released their brand new song and accompanying mini doc called Evergreen, and it shows what these dudes really do. It shows their positivity through music. It's infectious. The talent is unbelievable. I'm incredibly happy that I found these guys last year. Be on the lookout for show dates. I can't say more than this, but I do know the boys are looking to make some moves in 2026. So tell them where you want them to play, and make sure you check out all of their music. At number 2 this week, my friends in Kill Baron, this is Evergreen. And finally, our number one song of the week. This is also brand new. So far, 2026 has blessed us with tons of new music, and we are not even out of January yet. This is the third single from Richmond, Virginia's own Lamb of God off of their new album that'll be coming out this March. It's a pissed off song about a piss poor state of affairs, aka where the climate of the world currently is. I promised you guys no politics on this show, and I won't get into it. But, gentlemen, ladies, we are not blind to what's going on, and it's okay to be pissed off at it. All of it. Some of it. We're human. Randy from Lamb of God says the song is about where he feels the world is headed into oblivion. Coming in at number one this week, this is a fucking rager. This is Lamb of God off of their upcoming album of the same name, due out March 13th of 2026. This is Into Oblivion. I feature signed and independent bands every single week from all over the world, from California to Japan, Australia to Brazil. There is a lot of incredible music that I deliver straight to your ears. You could very easily find your new favorite band right here on the podcast. I only promote the bands that I feel truly bring something to the table, something that's worth paying attention to. I promise you, I won't waste your time and tell you to check out any band that doesn't truly deserve the investment of your time. I hope that you found some great new bands to listen to because of this podcast. I know personally I have. Check out the Top 10s playlist when you're done listening to the episode for all of the great music heard right here by either searching or scanning the code that is on your screen now. So, guys, new year, new merch, new ways to support the podcast if you have the means to, of course. I will be launching an online merch site for shirts and stuff that I'm designing. Shirts, coffee mugs, little things like that. I can only do so much at home with a Cricut machine. It doesn't always go necessarily the way I would like that to go, but it's a means to an end. If I have a quick design I want to throw together just for fun, I'll do that. But I still have a bunch of the Music Saves Live shirts going for $12 a piece. I'm going to keep those going until they sell out. And I'm going to keep a pretty active stock on those bottle openers as well. Those are going to always be $3. Hot sauce, I'm only going to do once in a while. It's a cost. And if it doesn't sell, there's too much that just gets thrown away. And I'm not a big fan of food waste. I think that in this world, in this country, there's too much food waste. And it's kind of a slap in the face to people who don't have it, especially in our own country. Not to get on a pedestal or anything. It's just that there's too many people starving in our own streets that can't afford it, and it's such a fucked up thing to throw away perfectly good food that someone else could have eaten. So I try to do my part and mitigate that and reduce as much food waste as I possibly can. So hot sauce is going to be a once in a while thing. It's not going to be as often as I even figured it would be. But to bring everything back to what I was just talking about, hot sauce you probably see at MGR Fest. The podcast will always be free. It will always be free. I'm not going to put anything behind a paywall. I'm not going to say, for secret, uncensored content, go to Patreon. No. This podcast is what the podcast is. You will always get it exactly how it has been delivered. If anything, I want to make it more accessible, more available to you. So, but I do want to have some items for sale so I can afford to at least properly promote and manage the show the right way. run some ads, get the bigger shows out there, marketing kind of stuff. I want to be able to host more shows. So, more live shows. I want to have bands that are on the show come in from out of state and be able to take care of them. Just full transparency. Like the money that I have made by selling stuff has gone immediately back into the show. I have not profited a dime. Not that, money making is not bad. It's an independent business thing, but everything is full transparency with me. I always keep everything honest with you guys. You should know that by now. But as I have things available, I will make sure that you guys have the links. So if you are listening and you want to help me grow, if you can't, in a non-monetary way, I do have 3 quick, easy, and free ways that you can help me grow the show. So the first one, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and Spotify. You will be instantly notified when a new episode is uploaded every single week. Number 2, follow my social media pages. I am on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. I have a Facebook page that I will be using more, but for now, really, Instagram is my go-to. So please give a follow. And that leads me to number 3. Share what you see on social media. Tell your friends, tell your family about the podcast. Hell, you can even be like the person in the line in London that told Circle of Nerves about me. Fucking completely different country, telling a band from a completely different country about this dude from America, right? Be that guy. But let's grow this thing together, my friends. Those 3 things can all be done in the same 5 minutes. It costs you nothing, and it helps me out tremendously. And of course, listen to the Face of Music podcast every single week right here. Music news, guys. I want to jump into this. There's a lot to talk about. So, so much has been going on lately. It is hard to keep track. First of all, there's something I want to kick off to talk about just for us Long Islanders. This is in a couple days. So, January 23rd, Mr. Dave Mustaine will be right here on Long Island to celebrate the final Megadeth record at Looney Tunes. He's doing an in-store event. This is Looney Tunes in West Babylon, and the only way to get in is to buy the album from the store and get a bracelet that gives you access to the event. This also coincides with the release of the Megadeth documentary that's hitting theaters this week as well. Next week, I'm going to do a review of the album, and we'll see how the final Megadeth attempt stacks up to the rest of their tremendous career. Next up, Poison is in the news. Why? Well, because 80s bands don't ever get along with each other. There is dissension among the ranks of the Poison camp as they go into celebrating the 41st anniversary of the iconic album, Look What the Cat Dragged In. Of course, the disagreement is over money, because what else would it be over? And it really stems from 2 different parties, it seems. It's drummer Ricky Rocket and frontman Bret Michaels. The problem here is that Bret is asking for a lot more money than the rest of the band, and not everyone seems to be eye to eye with that request. Bret is asking for $6 to everyone else's $1, putting a markup of 600% on Bret over his bandmates. There is a few ways to look at this. You could say, fuck Bret, the greedy bastard deserves nothing. You could say that it's his band, that everything should be royally split, evenly split between Bret, CC, Bobby, and Ricky. Nobody gets paid a dime more than the other. Or you could look at it like this. Bret is the front man of the band. Bret is the most recognizable. He is also touring nonstop on Poison's music every single year with his solo band when he isn't with Poison. You could say, if not for Bret, Poison's music probably would have faded into obscurity by now. The 4 guys in the band wrote the music together. They are the band, but in contract negotiation, I don't know. I kind of feel like Bret should get more. He's had the reality shows. He's done so many live performances. Like, he is the celebrity of the group. He's touring legitimately. I don't know if you follow Poison or Brett Michaels, because that's not really what we talk about on the Face Music podcast, but Brett has been nonstop touring with Poison's music his entire career. The dude's never slowed down. He's, if he's not with Poison, he's with his solo band, and the solo band is always doing free shows. They're doing, state fair type stuff. They do amphitheaters for free in the summer. Like, it's always a good time, and like it's always a party with Brett. But it's he is the most famous one in the group by far. He is instantly the most recognizable person in Poison. You could stack him up against really most 80s people, 80s rock stars at least, and people are going to be able to point him out immediately. I don't know if it's greed, though. I don't know. Like, he is valued higher. He is the celebrity. I don't think it's wrong of him to ask for more money, and I don't think it's wrong for him to get paid more money, considering his worth compared to the others. In a band situation, maybe for the tour, Brett could take a back seat on what he's asking for, but I don't think it's unreasonable. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear your take. If one member deserves more than another band. Let's say if Hetfield asked for more money than Kirk or Lars, or Robert, but Robert's not even an original member. So, like, in that sense, like, what would you say if you found out that James is making $1 million to, like, Kirk and Lars making 500,000? It's an interesting thought, but James is super famous. The others are too in their own right, but James is the front man of the band. He's the face of the band. But yeah, like I said, drop it in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about this. We are now in mid-January, and that means that we're going to start seeing lineups for the summer festival start getting announced. Danny Wimmer announced that Incarceration, the whole lineup came out the other day, and the festival season here in America, and really across the pond, is kind of similar. Usually the same grouping of bands do the festival circuits every year. It's just a matter of where are they in position to where they play. I'm sure we're going to hear about Aftershock soon, and Rockville and Sonic Temple. All that, I'm sure, is right around the corner. But one in particular I want to shout out for a few reasons. Rockfest, held in Cadott, Wisconsin, will be taking place this July 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. Wednesday night is just a warm-up. It's one stage featuring a bunch of, like earlier bands, Candlebox, Buckcherry. Then I also have Dying Wish, Earshot, Fox Lake. Thursday, though, being the first full day of the festival, may be one of the strongest showings in recent history for metal music. We have Guilt Trip. We have Showing Teeth, who I just featured a couple weeks ago. We have Upon a Burning Body, Silly Goose, Lacuna Coil, Magnolia Park, Set It Off, and then our heavy hitters, our headliners for that day. We have Hatebreed, Machine Head, I Prevail, and closing out the day, As Deserving as Fucking Possible, a band that should have been headlining festivals for about a decade now. Gojira closes out the first full day. I want to make special mention also my boy Connor Daly, who plays in Dystopica and also Dark After Dawn. Dystopica just landed themselves an opening spot on that Thursday festival. Congrats. That is massive. Truly, it is such an accomplishment, and I'm so jealous. I'm so truly jealous that you get to be there, let alone play there. Enjoy that. Enjoy that moment. This is the first big thing that Connor's done like this. Dude, breathe it in, take pictures, take videos, and don't forget about your boy. Send me everything. None of this shit goes wasted on me. But yeah, man, congrats. This is huge. I'm so happy for you. Have the best time of your entire fucking life, man. We will actually be hearing from Connor and the rest of his bandmates in Dark After Dawn in just a couple weeks. I just booked them for an interview, so we will have the Dad Boys on the show finally. For the rest of that week, though, the other bands that will be featured for Rockfest, Friday night headliners Limp Bizkit are joined by ICP, Body Count, Miss May I, Static X. The Long Islanders Kissing Candace are going all the way out there. Silver Tongue. And then Saturday we see The Offspring headlining, and they're joined by Hailstorm, The Pretty Reckless, Hollywood Undead, Story of the Year, American Overdose. Good to see those guys still doing their thing. Kingdom Collapse too. Those guys are fucking sick. And Il Nino. Um, Rockfest seems to be crazy this year. I would happily go if I could make it out there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Just travel, money, not having a job thing. It's it all adds up. Unfortunately, adds up too quickly. But anyone who does go, make sure you take pictures. Go see Dystopica. Shout out to the boy Connor. Yeah, man, have a great time. I'm sure I'm gonna talk to you before then. I'll talk to you way sooner. But yeah, that's all I want to touch base with when it comes to news this week. There's more, but I don't want to, Roger Waters doubled down on his opinions about Ozzy, all that kind of shit. I don't want to go all the way into that and open that can of worms again. It's just so petty. It's so fucking stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, around this time last year, I was gearing up for episode number 1 of the Face the Music podcast. I was just getting familiarized with my local scene again. I was learning about all the amazing new talents that have emerged in my absence over the last few years. For anyone who's unaware, I used to be the guitarist of Burn Your Bridges. Before that, I was in Logan's Room for 4 years. Burn Your Bridges broke up during 2020, and I spent a lot of time away from the music scene. I mean, it was half because I was completely jaded from it. I was just burnt out on the politics of being in a local band and all that kind of crazy shit. And I also didn't have anyone to play with, and I just, I needed the break. I needed the mental reset. So I took some time away from being in a band. Um, I I missed out on a lot of good music, apparently, the past few years. So many bands started popping up during COVID, and I was away for 100% of them. So when I started doing this and I started relearning about the scene that I was away from for a little bit, I was so surprised to see how many other bands had emerged, how many fucking amazing bands emerged. Dead Within Days, Resist the Temptation. I mean, Soul Search has been going strong as hell forever. So God bless those guys, man. They're something special. But another band that I had learned about pretty quickly was Uchikatsu. Now, aside from having to learn how to pronounce the name, which was a project in and of itself for me, they were playing with these other bands. I saw a show flyer and I decided to look everybody up, and like it was just one of those jaw dropping moments where I was like, man, this band fucking rules. Where have they been? And it was cool to gain the excitement for this band. I learned about them so early. I had not gotten to see them until October, and by that point, like it was a good chunk of the year that had gone by before I was like, I'm gonna finally get to see them. They have such a cool show. They have such a cool vibe about them. Um, the more I dug in with this band, the more that I loved everything I saw and everything I heard. They are first and foremost killer songwriters. They're fun, they're interactive, they are the epitome of a fourth wall breaking band. I did a small recap after seeing them back in October, and I couldn't be more excited to have them on the show today. Immediately after I saw them play, I went over and I was like, I need to get you guys on the podcast. I need to know more about you. And they were happy to oblige. So without further ado, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome the horror metal band Uchikatsu to the show today. Welcome. Welcome to the Face Music Podcast, everybody. I'm sitting here with Uchikatsu. Welcome, guys. It's a pleasure to have you on the show finally. I've been meaning to get you on for a long time.
Cool. Thank you, man. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
So, who do we have here today? You guys just go around and introduce yourselves real quick.
Sure. We'll start on this side right here.
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Sarah.
Hi.
I'm the singer. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Jade.
Lawrence.
Marie.
Pleasure, guys. Welcome. I'm probably gonna mess up your names a couple times. Forgive me. um, so you guys are basically closed out of your 2025, right? You have nothing else really on the calendar. Kind of tied everything up with the last show, right?
Yeah. So that last show that we played was sort of like the wrap up for the year for us, and then we're going into production of our next full length album, Violencia. And we're doing a bunch of other stuff. Like in the meantime, we're in production of different horror content and some new music videos to kind of package that album. Super
Very
tight.
cool.
So that's our thing.
Um, so now with the new album, or I mean, obviously you're gonna keep the same theme, but are you gonna shift to do like this year was really big with Season of the Witch for you guys, right? It's like, are you gonna focus more on that kind of element, or are you gonna take new paths for different themes within the horror concept, or
Yeah, definitely. If Depths was like a super colorful carnival record, we're definitely gonna always keep the carnival thing. That's a big
Mhm.
part of who we are, like the freak show concept.
I'm sorry, I just realized I said Season of the Witch. It's Burning of the Witch.
Yeah,
That's my bad. Dude, my bad.
so good. But yeah, Violencia is definitely a much darker record,
Okay.
and Burning of the Witch is the first glimpse into that. It's like
Mhm.
much heavier. Even the lyrical content is a lot darker. Uh, the imagery is also going to be a lot darker. Where the first record, it was a lot of like campy. We're obviously like all huge horror fans. Uh, Everything from like serious dark horror to like super campy horror. That first
Mhm.
record kind of leaned into this camp, happy-go-lucky party time horror, whereas on Violencia, just to add accent to the subject matter of the record itself, the whole vibe has gotten a lot darker. The color
Yeah.
palette is darker. The shows will be darker. I mean, the shows will always be fun and will always incorporate things to. I, I always say that like the live antics and the stuff that we do
Mhm.
visually is actually to soften the blow of the impact that the songs themselves have. I think the songs can be a bit polarizing for
Mhm.
people. I think it's heavy and it might even just like bum everybody out a little bit. So what we do is we add these, really eccentric and crazy things going on stage just to make sure everyone's having a good time at the same time.
Mhm.
This record will still do that for this era, but maybe just tone it down a little bit and kind of dress the visual side to match the music a little bit more.
So lyrically, what are some of the themes that you really write about? Like, I know obviously it's based in horror, but is it coming from a storyteller's point of view, from personal experience point of view, or a little bit of both?
So the aesthetic of the band is all horror,
Mhm.
for sure. But the lyrics of the music and the songs themselves are not metaphor or fabricated in any way. That stuff's all really literal,
Mhm.
and all real life stories. Um, I guess a lot of that stuff is horrific, but the imagery that we use, like I said, I think we kind of dress it in that horror. Obviously, like I said, we're all horror fans, so we just love horror. We love being part of that world and
Mhm.
incorporating that. But the songs themselves, yeah, none of that stuff is like fandom writing. I'm
Mhm.
never writing a song about Friday the 13th. I'm never writing a
Right.
song. You know what I mean? It's all real stories of real things and personal
Mhm.
experiences and stuff like that.
I'm very new to your band. I only found you guys this year through some of the stuff that Moon Groove was putting on.
So,
Well, I started to dive in with everything, and I was like, this is a band that I've been waiting to see on this island for a long time.
cool.
The music kicks ass. The music is very heavy, but the show element of it, I only heard stories of until I was at City Sound that one night with the Stitched Up, I think late mid-October maybe. Um, the show was just, it was incredible. So kudos to all of you for that because I heard stories like you have to go see this band. They're so much fun, and then I get there and I'm like, shit, I don't even want to participate. I think I said to Jade and Marie the same thing. I'm like, I just want to hang out in the back and just enjoy the whole experience from like an observer's point of view. There was so much going on. It was awesome. So congratulations to that, guys. You are officially one of the best live bands I've ever seen on this island.
Thank you, man.
Um,
That's really I'm glad you had a good time, man.
Yeah, it's bands always do the same shit for the most part. They want to have everyone come up to the stage. They want to see pits and they want to see movement and it never works. With you guys, you don't give anyone an option. You get out there. Like you throw pool noodles at people, you make people beat the shit out of each other, and it just happens organically and it's fun. It's not in like a, I want to see blood kind of way. It's a fun environment to be in.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see a band actually care enough about the stage show to bring that out at every single show. That's something very unique that I think you guys should really pride yourselves on.
We
So,
do. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, we like I said, the music itself is about a lot of real life violence. So inciting that sort of like textbook post hardcore, I want to see violence out there is not really our thing.
yeah.
I think that the music it definitely is probably cathartic for some people, less myself, but the audience feels so. So I think by getting them involved in ways that are like that, giving them stuff to play with, the goal was almost. I remember the mission statement was to make them feel dumb if you stand still. There's just so much going on that you get like you gravitate toward it and you want to be part of this fun thing. You can't only watch so many people around you going ape shit before you're like, I'm not.
Right.
Or the latter is people do what you did, which is appreciated too, is really just try to take it all in. I don't
Yeah.
think we care much, man. Like we don't care if the crowd's jumping all over the place or going crazy. We're gonna put on the show that we want to put on, and we kind of leave it up. We facilitate the fun for them by giving them things to do, and
Yeah.
the girls, interacting with the crowd and stuff. But at the same time, it's like we know what we're doing.
Hmm.
Everything, although it looks like it's really on the fly and chaotic, everything is so meticulously planned out in this band, and it's performed.
It definitely seems very orchestrated. Like you guys have everything down to a science. It does seem chaotic, but it seems chaotic in a way that you guys have rehearsed it to perfection. Like nothing really goes unchecked, Um, but I want to ask you, what made you decide to bring that element to your show? Because you could have just been like every other band, but you chose to be a more interactive element.
Um, I think fandom.
Yeah,
I think that growing up, listening to bands like Guar, even like Rob Zombie, White Zombie, stuff like
yeah.
that. There was a time when music felt like larger than life. There's a thing in music, and this is not to put anybody down or anything. It's like it's well, my observation, but it's almost like rock and roll is supposed to be counterculture, and
Yeah.
it's supposed to be not the majority or the mainstream. But then inside of these groups of like this, we're the cool kids in this band. This is everyone's now just conforming to their own type of conformity because everyone
Hmm.
is scared to not be themselves or do something different. So cool becomes its own standard. And I've never really cared about. I'm not cool. I've never been cool. I'm certainly not going to get cool now. Uh, just kind of do what we want to do. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, I forgot your question, so yeah, gonna have to run that back.
Really, just the question was, what made you want to add the element of having, um, almost like a three-dimensional show where you have the clowns, you have the whole stage act. What made you say that on your level you want to add such a big element to your show?
I think that just everybody's kind of doing the same thing. You go see a band and everybody's dressed the same, and they're meeting the standards of the scene or the genre, the subgenre that they're playing in. And I think I just wanted to do something that was what we wanted to do, and not based on what we were less concerned with how we'd be perceived and more
Hmm.
concerned about like our own art, if we dare call ourselves artists, you know what I mean? But um, I wasn't seeing anybody else do it. That wasn't necessarily the motivator. I just wanted to do something that I thought was dope, and we're all like kind of performance kids, I guess. You know what I mean? I'm pretty new. Some of us are like new to it. This is our first time really like doing something like this, but uh, haunt actors or into theater, so incorporating uh like a live theater vibe to it was just intriguing to me. I think it gets people more involved, and I think aesthetic is and cult. I mean, there's a difference between aesthetic and culture.
Right.
I think sometimes people absorb the aesthetic of something and don't know anything about the culture of it. But this isn't. We're not pioneering anything. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
This is a like I said, bands like Guar and White Zombie, Slipknot, Mudvayne,
Yeah.
new metal scene, even Insane Clown Posse. Like,
Mhm.
everyone clowned on them forever, no pun intended. Laughed their way to the bank, It's just whoop behind me. I got a Hatchet Man chain on right now. Yeah, I just wanted to do something that we would enjoy doing, and I figured like there's got to be a bunch of other people out there who are just as uncool as us who are gonna like it, and then that would be our people,
Mhm.
Working so far.
Yeah, that really is what you said about, rock and roll is supposed to be the counterculture. It shifts. It really does. It goes back and forth a lot, but the one thing that stays the same is people just want to be entertained.
Yeah,
People still want to go out to a show and feel something because music still is a very cathartic thing, like you said. Um, and it's something that a lot of people don't realize. You bring your friend to a show and be like, just give it a chance. And by the end of the night, they're like, that was the best night of my life. There's just
yeah,
something very primal about hearing like amplifiers, hearing some great music just in a small club. Um, it really does add so much to the experience. If you add a show on top of that, it really does it makes it something memorable, you
yeah.
know.
People are paying to
Um,
come out and do something too. You want to give them
yeah,
money. These people with an impression. Attention spans are so short these days. So
yeah.
give somebody
Unfortunately.
leave. Yeah, that like it's chalk it up to social media and doom scrolling, but
Yeah.
give people an impression, something that stays with them when they leave, like a good book or a good movie, something that
Which it's funny you mentioned that because a lot of bands that I've talked to this year have mentioned the lack of attention span and really have chalked it up to things like the way people were during COVID, how they were just locked inside their houses all day and just flipping through reels and TikToks and all the bullshit. And before you know it, you don't have the capacity to sit there and watch a movie, let alone a TV show, let alone a 2-minute clip that you could find on YouTube. So now everything has to be really packaged, tied up, condensed. You know, it kind of stifles artistry a little bit if you let it. But if you're a band who stands on principle, you're gonna be fine. People appreciate quick, but if they go into a show, they know like openers are going to have a half hour. They know the headline is probably going to have 45 minutes to an hour. So they expect to be there for X amount of time. What you do to fill that time is up to you entirely, though. But the more you can hold a person's attention, the better it is. So,
yeah, yeah, definitely. We try. I'm personally terrible with social media, like kind of by choice. Like I don't engage with it as much as I probably should as a like I said, an artist or somebody who makes music. Sarah over here does almost all of our social media, excellent at it. Um, we'd be actually completely lost without her. So the moment to appreciate Sarah, who's also the juggler clown girl. By the way, yeah, I don't know if I said that before. Jade is curly fry on stage. She's often either cutting someone's scalp off or face off. Behind me is Marie, who's a little bit also a stage performer, and then next to me is Sarah, who is the juggler.
mm.
Um, you'll see her in some of our music videos as the juggler, literally juggling. Uh, she's also alongside with me. She does the special effects and makeup for everyone. She's a professional special effects and makeup artist.
Oh, very cool.
The girls, everyone has like different little talents that get utilized. You know what I mean? Marie is like super athletic, so if you see somebody flying around all over, that's Marie. She's got a ton of energy that never seems. But it does, but it depletes in like a total complete crash. So it's either 1,000 or zero.
Well, you've seen it at the show. I instigate a lot and jump around.
Oh, yeah.
Little bits to show shit. If you've come to an Uchikatsu show and somebody just smacked you in the face with a pool noodle and started to fight with you, it was definitely a little bit.
Tiny, I can weave in and out of everybody. So
Yeah, you got
Dude, that was honestly the impression that I had is that I saw pool noodles like flying off the side. Before I know it, there's someone running circles around the place. I was like, what the fuck, dude? You're so fast.
You officially clocked with it. That's her. Right? You got hit and don't know how the fuck it happened. That was it.
Sorry,
Like,
Narcissus.
he's gone.
So,
the-
now who started the band up? Like, was that Lawrence and you, John, or was that
yeah. So man, I don't even know what year it was. Probably going on like 5 years now with Genesis, right?
Um,
2020.
officially 2021.
Yeah, probably about 2021.
I wrote Didn't Show Up with the on Demons like December of 2020, and that's when we
Yeah.
were just like, all right, I'm not fucking around anymore.
Yeah.
You've been harassing me for like 2 years to make music with you.
I remember that. All right, so here's a little quick backstory. Our bass player now, Russell, and I have been friends forever. We played in bands together since we were kids. And he came over one night. Lawrence came over. This is when I was at my parents' house, so I was younger. And he showed me a bunch of instrumentals, Lawrence, that he had on his phone, and I was like blown away by the music. I was like, "Oh, this is sick!" I think I started like freestyle screaming stuff to it, like right then and there,
Usually.
like a freak, you know. And I've been saying like, "Yo, we should really start a project together. I have these ideas." And then I showed him some lyrics I had, and it meshed really well. And then he came up with this instrumental concept. It was like early stage instrumental concept for the song "Neon Demons" that's on the Depths record.
Mhm.
And I sat with it. It was just a piece of. It was one of those situations where I had the way it usually works is I have the lyrics already written in like a poetry format almost, you know, and then I'll get a piece of music that I like that Lawrence has sort of orchestrated and put together in like a raw format. Um, but this song really spoke to me. I started writing. I sat with it for a little bit, and then when I showed it to him, I was like, "Can we start a band now?" And "Yeah." And that was the first song we ever wrote together, and then it was
Wow.
kind of built from there. You know, styles changed dramatically since then, but
Right. So now I'm assuming this isn't like the first band either of you have been in, right?
no, definitely not.
So where did you find your roots? Like, what inspired you to start doing what you do? What were the first bands that you played in? Like,
Shit. Um, I was probably 13 or 14 in my first
oh wow,
band. Young,
Same.
him too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I played in so many bands growing up.
yeah,
You know, that's the vibe. You know, like what it was like post hardcore bands, and then like even like dad rock bands, and you know, I had a neighbor who was really into Godsmack sick. You know, but that was like we were pretty much just like ripping Godsmack and playing that kind of stuff. That was when I was maybe like 14, and then my first serious band was like my early 20s, maybe like 20 years old. I joined a band with a bunch of my friends who I had grown up with. They were all great musicians, and played a ton of shows, you know, did the whole thing, you know. That just kind of naturally ended,
Mhm.
and I took a little bit of a break. He was in a bunch of bands, right? What was the last one you were in?
Um,
No one's gonna know these bands anyway because they're wildly unsuccessful.
I mean, I might.
I know, right?
before I like stopped doing anything live for a long time, there was one band that it was when I met Morgan.
War by Ares.
No, it was right after that, very briefly, for literally a couple weeks, and I was like, "Oh, it's not my thing."
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've all been in bands that were like a 2 week band. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of those
Well, like-
too. Yeah.
Before Uchi, it was War by Ares, and we were ass. Like I couldn't. All our songs were just a bunch of riffs that I came up with, like just smashed together.
Yeah.
Songs. I wasn't good at songwriting at the time.
It's good at riff writing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but aside from that, it was just like one other band when I was like 14, and we just covered like Good Charlotte and like Boys Like Girls.
I always like to ask because I've been in the music scene for like give or take 20 years. So I've seen a lot of bands come and go. But you know, it's not uncommon to have crossed paths with so many people through the years too. Um like I've interviewed people that I found out we played shows together at shit, what was it called? Finn's Pub before it was Shakers. Like
Yeah,
way back in like 2010, 2009 and shit. So it's cool to see if anything cross connects like that. But
yeah,
yeah, that's cool. And I mean, yeah, Godsmack is just fun music to rip, you know? It's
yeah.
good shit. It's
Of
easy, fun music just to get through. But
course.
so when you guys started Uchikatsu, did you have the theatrics in mind, or was it just let's get together, play, and see what happens?
Um, yeah, I kind of always been like obsessed with that kind of thing. I've always wanted to do
Yeah,
something like that. Even in like my last band, I would push things like this, and they'd be like, "No, it's not." Again, going back to the "it's not cool" thing.
yeah.
Or I think fear of looking stupid holds people back.
Mm,
Um, and I don't care. So I think that when we started the band, yeah, we talked about it pretty early on that we were going to do some crazy shit. It's a Japanese band name
yeah.
that's all horror based. The whole band is horror based. If you could figure that out, you let us know. But we liked the name. We had an idea of what it would look like and feel like, and the kind of stuff we would incorporate. I think like super early on. It's
Mm,
gone through changes. Obviously, it's evolved.
mm.
Um, Seeing what works, and plus our tastes have evolved. But we leaned into like the '80s retro slasher thing for a while, which we're going to go back into.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Um, you know,
That's always fun.
yeah, it's like it's nostalgic.
Hmm.
I think people dig it. I think that there's no fans in the world like horror fans. They're so fanatical, and
Yeah.
loyal. So why not tap that market? There are people anyway. So
Hmm.
I think we get a lot. I think the concept was probably I wanted this, we all wanted this to be something that you can enjoy, whether you just enjoy the music
Hmm.
or you can enjoy it because you just enjoy the live shows, or do you just enjoy the visual aspect and the horror content that Sarah and I write? Or best case scenario, you like all of it. You like the
Hmm.
whole package.
It's cool because metal and horror go hand in hand. They're just
Yeah.
perfect together. Um, but yeah, that is definitely a cool element that you can have so many layers. You can enjoy the music on its own, or the videos, or the stage show, or everything. But you guys put so much work into it, and it shows how much you care about it. So it's it's cool to see how you combine all the different elements. But yeah, if you went back to like 80s slasher shit, dude, no one's gonna complain about that. You
Yeah.
know,
All right. Like
that's
I'm a big '80s horror movie guy for sure.
it's the
Um,
peak for horror, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, that is a very common opinion too,
Hmm.
and we're like-minded, sir. But I don't want to give too much away because we haven't talked about releasing anything
Yeah,
specific.
no, keep it secret.
But yeah, we got
I'll
some.
I'll, I'll find out with everybody else.
Yeah, we got some stuff we could tell you about that we got coming out. But there's definitely I'm alluding to it now. There's definitely some dope '80s stuff coming up.
Yeah.
It's in play.
So, now I know you have like the new record and everything. What are some of the goals you have for 2026? Like in terms of a band, like you looking to play outside New York more? You looking to, what's your 2026 looking like?
Well, when we started, it was actually kind of the opposite for us. We were playing only outside of New York,
Yeah.
and New York was almost like towards the end of the year, or like half point of the year. New York became like the final frontier. We were like, let's
Mm,
start playing, our own state a lot more. There was a time when we couldn't find shows. People wouldn't get
really?
us on shows for New York. Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't think and no maliciousness or anything like that, but it was just those shows seem to be eluding us. So we were doing a lot of stuff in Jersey, and
Hmm.
and got like a little footing there. I think in the future, I can't say where we'll be playing more or not. I think we'll avoid oversaturating one
Yeah.
state too much. You know what I mean? Goals wise, I think as always, uh, just to step up our production. I think if people think they know what they got this year seeing us, I'm very confident that we're going to blow that out of the water. Like that I can say with complete confidence. But also to us, like we want to step up our production with everything so much. I know the record does because I've heard the record. The record's in production right now, and I'm happy with it. But every aspect of what we do, this was just past year was just like the start. The stuff we even have planned, and we see the production stuff we're in right now.
Mhm.
It definitely steps it up huge. So that's our goal.
That's very exciting. I look forward to seeing what you guys have in store for live, for the album, for videos, the whole thing. I think it's gonna be really cool. So, I have a question for Sarah, Jade, and Marie. Um, do you guys have any history in music, or are you just, um, are you just used to doing the acting thing? Like, what's your backgrounds?
After you. I guess I'll kick it off. So basically, my entire life I've been playing different instruments alongside with singing, and I did originally live in Brooklyn for most of my life. Then I moved out this way, and my schools back in Brooklyn were very oriented and focused on music and performing arts. So a lot of that between doing solo competitions. I'm a self-taught trumpet player and jazz musician. Um, Taking those elements and being able to apply them into what I considered just a dream of mine that's now coming true, and being able to work with such an amazing group of people, very talented, creative people who
Mhm.
are able to take those little nuances and apply them to what we do, what we bring to the stage, what we bring to a production in film, even, like I'm able to take those talents and just display them for everybody. And these folks right here helped me break completely out of my shell. So the performances that you see of me dancing, belly dancing on stage, never a day in my life would I think or would I have thought that I would have the confidence to do something like that.
Oh.
And they definitely, yeah, you guys definitely helped me feel a lot more comfortable being who I am and letting me feel like it's okay to be that weirdo who gets on stage and she cuts her face off, but at the same time she's gonna turn around and just like twerk in your face, like but it's as a lifelong horror fan and someone who also has a little bit of dabbling in practical effects and in makeup and stuff, that's just more to bring to the table. So
You're in the perfect band.
I would say so. I would absolutely say so. I'm very grateful for this entire opportunity. It's not normal.
Ain't shit normal on that. Pass the mic. Yeah.
Pass the mic. So music wise, I don't really play any instruments or anything like that, but I've been around the music scene for so long that you've gotten used to like we've had a conversation before of seeing the students doing the same thing. Everybody kind of gets up. You see, it's like a uniform thing. So it's nice for us to be able to come out there and do something different and give them an actual experience, to leave with an experience, whether, like you said, either it's performance wise, it's the music wise, or it's actually just seeing and taking everything in. So music wise, I've just been around it for so long. I don't actually play anything. I would love to eventually get back into violin.
Let's say you used to play the violin. Yeah.
Get you on stage.
It's
What?
That would be cool. Me in a violin
That'd be
as the
sick.
clown.
That would be
That works.
That's probably gonna happen now, man.
like the electric
section. Yeah, that would be
so cool.
I can totally just borrow my violin. Just take it home, girl.
Yeah.
So shit happens, man. That's how it happens. In real time.
Yeah.
Acting wise, I've always been intrigued by it and I've wanted to do that. So being able to do this and do the music videos and everything, pretty much just opened that realm up for me to be able to do something like that. So it's really cool to be able to be on stage and be able to do that horror aspect is fantastic for me. That's pretty much all I got.
That's right, man. That's
That's
yeah.
the mic.
I'm a musical theater kid. I just I just grew up doing musicals. I like acting. I work at Dark Side Haunted House, which is how I met them. They were doing the commercials in 2022.
22.
Yeah.
22?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's how I met the band. And then
Hmm.
from that point on, it was just like an opportunity to act. And then the more I got to know them, like create concepts as a whole. And then it just really took off. And now it's like every time we need something or have an idea, I'm like, well, I'll just learn a bunch of new shit so we can do it.
It's
Yeah, like I'll just learn absolutely everything we need.
Yeah. We don't outsource for anything. We Sarah learn it almost immediately.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask you how you guys all met, but it seems like Dark Side Haunted House is the thing.
A few of
For me.
us. Yeah, for
For
her.
Yeah.
Her and I.
And a lot of the other crew too.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
roadies. A lot of them are haunt actors.
Oh, cool.
I've done some haunt acting too, and construction there, designing putting sets together and stuff like that. Dark Side is definitely probably like I'd call them like our number one sponsor. You know what I mean? We got like a
Yeah.
lot of crew come from there. They're all like-minded, super horror
Our
nerds.
music video was filmed there.
Oh yeah, and our music video for Skeletons and Me was filmed there. That's what
Oh,
happened.
cool.
Was the owner of Darkside is a good friend of mine, Mike Miola. He saw the music videos that we were doing because a long-term friend of mine named Joey Sendra worked there. Showed him the music videos, and then somehow we landed that we were going to do the commercials for Dark Side House. And that's how I had met Sarah, and Sarah met the band, and then things just took off from there. As far as meeting, Lawrence and I have known each other for a long time. We're mutual friends through our bass player. I've known Marie for probably like 15 years. Yeah, very,
Oh,
very
wow.
time. Jade I met through Lawrence, got very close with her. And yeah. And Justin, our drummer, we met through a Facebook post that we made looking for a new guy. A friend recommended him. We found out that Justin had actually never played a show before. Then he came in the studio to jam with us, and like collectively our jaws hit the floor. Justin,
I think Sarah cried actually.
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's what it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah, that's how Justin came to the fold. Definitely changed like the whole game for us. So yeah, Justin's our guy. We're just all like that's the other thing too is we're all like an actual group of friends
Mm.
who were friends first before this. This just is something that really unified us all. Like this has become our whole lives. Like it's really all we do. Yeah.
That's really cool, man.
Mm.
So, Lawrence, I wanted to ask you, dude. What were your inspirations for picking up a guitar? Like, who'd you consider your musical hookups?
I grew up listening to like Led Zeppelin and like Ozzy and Black Sabbath and like Dio, and my parents were super into all that. So I always had an interest. And by the time I was like, I don't know, 12 maybe, one of my neighbors was like, you can have this guitar. And I was like, hell yeah. And he showed me like a couple things to get me started. And then I just kind of ran from there. Like, lived in my bedroom on the internet playing guitar all day, every single day. If I wasn't at school, I was locked in my room playing guitar.
Shows.
Yeah. Awful. As far as like a main influence, I don't really know. Like, I just always was super, super into music. I would listen to just about anything and really genuinely enjoy almost anything. I just like music.
Was there any artist in particular that like really turned you on to the heavier side of things?
um, Honestly, Avenged Sevenfold was a huge band for me way back in the day. Like Waking the Fallen, City of Evil era Avenged Sevenfold.
Hmm.
So if anything, probably them if I had to pick one.
Did you hear the new song?
No. I stopped listening after I don't know 2016. I think was that one album. I was like, that's cool, and then just fell out from there.
Dude, I heard that the song existed. So last night when I got home, sitting in front of the house and I put it on, I was like, this can't be the final product. It's straight like it's straight butt cheeks, dude. It's so bad. It
Rating review. Straight.
Yeah.
and the, if the song sounds like a 12-year-old tried to produce it in their bedroom, and it's like just all over the place musically, nothing has any sort of cohesion. But I was curious as an Avenged fan if you had listened to it, but I think you stopped listening at the right point.
Yeah, I stopped looking into the new stuff after a while. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's enough. I love the old stuff. I'll still listen to it at any time, but the new stuff, I'm like,
Yeah.
And that's
I
okay.
think, yeah. I think the stage was the last, like, honestly, halfway decent effort that they had.
yeah. I
But,
think whatever album was after that, there was a couple really good songs on there. But overall, I didn't love it. There was
yeah.
just songs.
And, John, with you, I wanted to ask you the same question. Like, what made you want to be a vocalist? I know you had mentioned things like War earlier, but was that what did it for you, or was there other elements?
No, first of all, I'm being a poser. I'm not a huge Guar fan. That's Russell. Russell's the big Guar fan of the band, sure. My dad was a Motown singer, actually.
Oh, cool.
So I grew up around like super musical household. My mom real into rock and roll, real into the Doors, Led Zeppelin, stuff like that. A lot of Black Sabbath in my house growing up. Um, I don't know. I've been singing since I was a little kid. My dad was a singer. And then I had to be maybe like 13 years old, and okay, you want to get dark for a second? I'll tell a little kind of shitty story. But
Sure.
when I was like 13, I had a bit of like a rough upbringing. I got into it with these dudes. They hopped out of a car when I was younger. I caught an ass whooping, man. I got jumped. Dudes were like in their 20s, and I was banged up pretty bad. They cut me up pretty bad. But I was in bed recovering from that, and I had Slipknot's self-titled record that I had stolen, and I had it on CD and I had it on cassette. And I remember while I was like kind of recovering from that, I had that CD on repeat, and I couldn't get up to change it. You know what I mean? So I'm laid out in bed, and that record played over and over and over, and I think it did something to my psyche. I don't know, but I came out of that. Yeah,
Mouth and cord.
yeah. This is kind of what happens on stage now. You know what I mean? If you listen carefully enough, it probably sounds a little bit like Corey Taylor. But I definitely I learned how to sing. I could always sing for as long as I could remember. Just that's what we kind of did around my house. But I started screaming at 14, just and badly, dude. Like the wrong way, getting headaches, just airing it out, my angst, as kids do. That for me, and then I mean, once I went down the Slipknot rabbit hole, it was like new metal city for me. Like that was it. I got into like Spine Shank and Mudvayne and Head PE, American Head Charge, stuff like that. At the same time, I was listening to like a lot of hip hop, a lot of like 90s rap, like NWA, House of Pain, Cypress Hill, I found Deftones and it was like Corn, you know what I mean? And all that music, it like swept me up, Now I don't even listen to a lot of metal. I listen to stuff like I try intentionally don't listen to a lot of metal, because it kind of sounds goofy or whatever, but I don't want to be influenced by anything other than like my own thought process because I'm a
Hmm.
metal musician. Listen to a lot of blues, listen to a lot of
Yeah.
like yeah, um, like Rob Johnson and Lead Belly stuff like that. I listen to
Very cool.
just different genres, and I take inspiration, if anything, from that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was for me. Like that was where I was like, I think I want to be a front man. I was really good at patting myself on the back, kind of. But as a kid, I was pretty good with words. I was pretty good at writing.
Hmm.
I wrote a lot, read a lot as a kid, so that translated well. I realized I could write concepts lyrically, tell stories, and it's just hand in hand. Screaming, like I said, wrong until I got somewhat good at it. If I would even call myself good at it now, but yeah, that was it, man. 14, 15, just going hard, joining the neighborhood kids. I remember my first bands you asked before, they'd be like, hey, we need a singer. Can you sing? And I was like, yeah. I didn't know, not really, dude. Like, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna fake it, and fool these kids down, and they were, and I remember they were like, dude, you're sick. And I'm like, good, because I'm hurting myself. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I've made it more sustainable, and I'm better at it now. But it's a trial and error growing up. But yeah, that was my start.
So I know you said that you don't listen to really any metal anymore by design, but
Some,
do you ever like check out any new bands that are coming around or?
oh yeah. So what I mean, not like driving in my car. Of course, I'm gonna listen. I listen to some metal here and there, particularly bands that I know personally.
Mhm.
Friends of mine, and there are definitely like some metal staples. Like I'll still pop on Iowa, randomly and jam that record. I listen to some stuff, just not as much as I used to.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there are a lot of bands that we know that I think are way better than they get credit for, and that credit will come because they're good and they're working hard. They're pounding the pavement. But there's some awesome metal bands that I listen to. I don't do too many shout outs because I don't want to leave anybody out, but um, yeah, that's my thing. And I watch a lot more movies these days than listen to
Yeah.
music. You got to figure like we're so working on a record and it's loud music all the time, and then or we're
Yeah.
on stage with loud music all the time. So uh, my media consumption tends to be like the same 8 slasher movies from 1980.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
How's that?
yeah.
100 times.
How's that?
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead, Halloween, John Carpenter's
Those
Halloween.
are household names.
Yeah, yeah. They all know. It's ridiculous.
So the reason I ask is because you mentioned a couple names in there that my my friends in the band Redefined are in South Carolina. They just dropped a brand new one, straight like early 2000s new metal vibes, like right in the path of like Head PE and Mudvayne. It's
Yeah,
really groovy kind of shit. So
awesome.
I'll just throw that out there. Shout out Redefined. But the new song's called
Yeah,
Yeah,
send
what
the link.
yeah, the band is Redefined. The new song is called Thoughts.
okay, cool.
It just came out last week, but it's a crazy good song. And it took me right back to childhood when I listened to it. But
Oh yeah,
they're a great band. They
yeah,
actually just today they announced they're doing a show with Resistor.
cool.
So
Oh,
so Resistor is doing a tour with Yosemite and Black, and when they play South Carolina, Redefined is gonna hop on with them. So that'll be a cool show.
Awesome, sick, cool. That's good. Yeah.
So, who would you call some of your favorite blues artists? Because I'm curious about that. Because I also like the blues a lot.
Uh Man, lately like I said it before. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of Lead Belly.
Hmm.
Just the story of the artist itself,
Yeah.
like learning more and more about him, who he was as a person, and the way that he was perceived, and then wrote those songs.
Hmm.
Uh, that it sounds silly because today you hear everyone talk about the lore, right? But That's almost more important to me in music now, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Um, and I think that it gives music and art in general substance when you
Yeah.
know something about the artist, and then like think about reading somebody's autobiography, who's a musical artist, and then going back and now analytically looking at their lyrics
Hmm.
with that insight, so for me, that's kind of just like what I've been on this past couple of weeks. You know what I mean? It changes though.
Hmm.
Um, quick to go back to what you were saying about metal. I do definitely consider myself a metalhead. I don't mean like I don't enjoy the genre or anything like that. And
Right.
and, and we kind of left out the whole core period when metalcore started and
Yeah.
all that stuff and deathcore. Like we listen to all that stuff. Like I like Whitechapel a lot too, and bands like that. I don't mean to act like I'm above it or not a fan of it. Of course I'm a fan of it. It's what I
No, dude. I mean, I'm sure you know, but most people in metal bands, most metalheads in general, don't really just listen to metal, and
no,
most frontmen don't listen to metal at all. I'm finding,
no.
like Randy Blythe from Lamb of God, straight punk, doesn't listen to metal. Jesse Leach from Killswitch does not listen to metal. Like
No.
there's a lot of them out there that like once they're off stage, they turn it off. They listen to anything else but that, whether it's hardcore or rap or pop or whatever, you know.
I just like music, man. I just
Yeah.
like it's simple as that. I'm just a music. Like, said that before. I'm just a music fan,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and I like transportive music. I like music that takes you to different places.
Hmm.
That's a big part of it for me. I like when I listen to different artists, whether it be if I'm listening to the Misfits, I'm in the Misfits world.
Hmm.
If I'm listening to artists like Ethel Cain, I'm in that Southern Gothic world. I'm in something that the aesthetic of the music it transports you into a whole different headspace, and you can
Hmm.
see that's important to me. That's what I think is like a make or break thing. That's what we try to do.
Hmm.
Give people a whole. We joke around. We call it the Uchi verse, which just sounds so corny. You said that shit out loud. But yeah, transport people to the Uchi verse.
So with the name Uchikatsu, I know you mentioned it's Japanese, but what does it mean?
What does it mean, Laura?
You went on the deep dive.
So it means to conquer.
To
Uchikatsu,
conquer?
to conquer. Yes, it's so if one province in Japan was to take over another, it would be
Hmm.
considered Uchikatsu. But it could also be
That better be what it means.
right. It could also be synonymous with like a great overcoming.
Mm.
To conquer something more metaphorical. Symbolic conquering. Uh, so we kind of just picked the name. He shot it. First of all, the band name is Lawrence's idea. All right, he shot that name, and I was like, "Cool, let's go." I had a million other things in my head, and you know what I mean. I'm like, we're gonna do this, and this music video is gonna be sick. And he's like, "Dude, settle down. We just wrote the first bar of the first song."
It's still like that.
It's
It doesn't change in 5 years.
facts. Yeah, so that's what the band name means. Now that's our band. It's
So
cool.
how'd you stumble across that?
That's a great question. I don't remember.
I think I remember we shot a lot of names around.
Yeah.
That was a process, dude. But at the same time, I wasn't giving it that much thought. I don't remember where he found it, nor does he.
Hmm.
But he said it one day, and I was like, "That's cool." And I think that I liked it because I got tired of every band name, and this is no shades on any other band or whatever. But every band kind of sounds the same. Like every
Mm.
band names start to blur, at least for me, which probably says more about me. But those names they all kind of blur together.
Hmm.
Everything got like black something, death something, or whatever,
Verb.
Yeah, and I always like bands like Gojira and,
Yeah.
and names that I thought it was cool in my own version of cool to have someone be like, "How do you say it?" No, man, you say it the wrong way. This is the right way to say it, or you know what I mean. I knew the band, when they were thinking about it being this thing, like that conversation is cool to me.
Mm.
And I think, I mean, the name is phonic. You'd be surprised how many people have a hard time
Oh my
saying our band
God.
name. I'll tell you that.
Insane.
A lot of people say it wrong.
But even when they say it wrong, everyone knows who they're talking about. So I guess
Yeah.
it's doing its job.
Yeah, exactly. It's conversation. It's conversation starter, and it stands out. So that works for me. You know, works for us. So we're happy with it.
That's very synonymous with the lyrical content.
What?
It's very synonymous with the lyrical content.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the songs.
Which came after the fact, but
Yeah, that was like a happy accident, right?
Yeah.
Like a little synchronicity. The songs, lyrically, I mean, they're all pretty violent, and they definitely talk about some harrowing experiences, and they don't always have happy endings. I don't really write that way where I have an intent to give somebody closure at the end of the song. I
Right.
mean, I actually don't have a whole lot of closure for the things I'm talking about, so I'm certainly not gonna give the audience something that's less than authentic. But um, I think that there is an element of taking some of those experiences um, and turning them into art that could be perceived as an overcoming or a conquering. You know, I always say like the stuff that I'm talking about in those songs, like it was either going to live in me anyway, it was going to be there, and it was never stuff that I was going to sit with a therapist and talk about one on one because I don't want to talk about it. But yet here I am, speaking it and singing it to strangers, you know, packed rooms full of people, and they're saying it back, and which is cool. But I guess in a way that is a conquering or an overcoming, So there's that connection too.
Yeah, like I'm a big proponent for therapy and stuff, but sometimes what you need is far beyond therapy. Sometimes you just need to get into a room full of people that got your back and just scream your lungs out. Because if nothing else, metal's a community. So like you're not the only one that's going through the shit that you're going through in your life. You may have your unique experiences, but everyone else in that room is there for the same reason. We all seek the same catharsis.
For sure. I definitely that's one of the experiences that I most. I've had kids come up to me after the show and just like get a minute with me to be like, hey man, that line and the song or this and that, like I know what you're talking about. And a lot of times they don't have to say more than that. Uh, I've said before in the past too, like Uchikatsu songs, it's not something that you want someone to look at you and be like, hey, I relate to that. Like that my response to that would probably be I'm sorry. But I think that those experiences where words aren't even really needed, like kids just come up to me sometimes and they say, that's dope, thanks for writing that, or hey, you know that line, right? And I'm like, yeah man. And then that just I don't really do it with that intention, to be honest. I'm not out here saying like I write this stuff for people or anything like that. I just kind of just write it. I don't know what I'm doing. It's just really organic, and but that people respond to it, I do appreciate that. I don't take that for granted. So yeah, there's definitely a sense of community out there too. And I gotta say, like the metal community in our experience, other bands have been wildly supportive of us. Like really coming out the woodwork and sharing our music, telling people about us. Their fans quickly become our fans, and to go from a group of people who weren't really sure like how we were going to be perceived,
Yeah.
It's really other artists. Like it's almost like we're like an artist. You know what I mean? These guys seem to really have our back. That's something that we're super appreciative of. A lot of good people out there. So
I noticed that at City Sound that night, all the bands that played stuck around for you guys. They were all moshing and having fun, and everyone just seemed to, like you said, just be very supportive. And that's great to see because, being in the music scene for as long as I have, I've seen a lot of trends. I've seen a lot of bands that'll play their set and just dip right after they're done. The whole crowd goes with them, half the audience is gone, and then by the time you get to the headlining band, you're playing to like 3 people, 4 people. It kind of sucks.
just lame.
that trend is dying out finally. I think
Yeah,
it's, you know,
dude, going to
but
see a band
now,
and leaving is like the goofiest shit in the world. Like
yeah.
you're there, like stick around. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's like infuriating when I see that. You know, we
Yeah.
do the best we can to make sure that we're there from opener to headliner. And and that's why I like the shows when we get to when we're headlining because we get to watch a whole rock show
Yeah.
before we get to play. We're fired up by the time we
Mhm.
get there, you know what I mean? Like that's that's ideal. And then when we open, or whatever slot we get, whether supporting or whatever, we stick around. Plus you get to see all these amazing musicians doing their thing. Like
Mhm.
I'm not trying to miss that. You know what I mean?
Facts.
What
Right.
else am I gonna do?
So now I'm noticing the trend isn't just you go see a show because your friend's band is playing or whatever, but the bands are encouraging you to go see the other bands. You
Yeah.
know, it's not just a place of, hey, come see my band play. It's, we're opening up for this band. You have to come see them. They're great. This band is opening right before us. You have to come see them. They're great. It's a lot more community based, and it's so refreshing to see. Um, it's so much more of it's a growing community now. It's actually growing. Um, the guys in the Stitched Up were so excited to be playing with you guys that night. They were so hyped to see you guys. And I know their guitarist, Alex, he had never seen you guys either. But when you started, he had the same reaction as me. He's like, holy shit, what's going on? Like, he was so excited for the whole thing. He kept like coming back to me in the back of the room, checking in. He's like, dude, I can't believe this is such a cool show. At the end of the night, he's like, he didn't stop talking about you guys for a week, dude. Like, we,
Thanks, Alex.
we started up Project Zero, which is my Linkin Park cover band that we're doing together. So it's me and a couple of guys from the Stitched Up and Dylan from Resist the Temptation. Um, so we're all doing that together for the past few months. But that night and at the next rehearsal, like they would not stop talking about how much they loved you guys. So
That's
do with
cool.
that information what you will, but you made a few fans that night.
Very much appreciate that. That's cool. That's super cool, man.
um yeah, it's infectious, you have something really good that you're doing. You The music is great too. Like, can't shortchange the music. The show is fantastic, but the music is really, really good. um and you're spot on by what you said about, like, maybe with some of the darker subject matter, you don't want to hear people come up and be like, hey, like, I get it, because it's not really something that you want to know that someone else had to go through, maybe. But you could share that together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm grateful for that. I'm happy to meet everybody that we've ever met. Just to have an impact on anybody is incredible, especially through art. You know,
Yeah.
just what more can you ask for? That it
Right.
affected somebody. Good, good, bad, whatever, but it affected them. That's the goal.
Mhm.
Leave people with something. That's cool. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Community is definitely pretty cool. There's not many times that we don't get off stage or look out to the crowd, and there are tons of other bands up there. Guys that not
Mhm.
playing, mind you, they just showed up. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
band cross cab is a singer. From this band will be in the crowd. I get a big hug from him the second I get off the stage. You know what I mean? Didn't even clock that he was there until like the last song, but there he is going fucking crazy in the mosh pit. That's cool. That's cool. It's like this level of like local competition. It doesn't
Yeah.
exist. It's like we're not. No one out there is competing with each other
Mhm.
anymore. You know what I mean? We're competing
Yeah.
against anything, an industry,
Hmm.
not amongst each other. And I think that when we stop behaving that way, everybody got better for it.
Yeah.
Everybody got better when you're less focused on, you know, to what does the guy next to me have more on his plate than I do. You have more room for your own art and your own creativity. I think when you spread yourself thin with bullshit like that, you suffer. The only person that suffers from it is you. And then if
Yeah.
everyone's doing it, then everybody's suffering.
Hmm.
I think that leaves room for growth for everyone.
Yeah, it definitely used to be a very, like, unspoken competition, and in so many different facets of it too. Like, who's got the better equipment, who's doing more flashy shit on stage, who's playing the more technical stuff. And it just, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is you all look like jerk offs when you're competing. Like,
Yeah.
just play the damn music, have fun playing it, enjoy the show, but like don't look to upstage your other bands. That's so tacky. It's in such poor taste.
Yeah, bro. Nobody gives a fuck how tight your skinny jeans are, or how that you got the new tattoos or whatever.
Mhm.
Like all that stuff is so goofy. Like, just I
It,
don't. It's not. It's
it
not. It's not.
was it was sweep picking for a while too. Like,
Oh
oh,
yeah. Oh
guitar
god.
can sweep pick, but then yeah, but like the other the other 9 bands you're on that show with all do sweep picking. Like, you're not even special, dude. Just like don't try to be the best at something you're not even like you're not standing out, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely like the pre-pandemic scene. Was everyone's trying to one up each other, and like, when you're walking off the stage, everyone's walking around like they got the biggest dick in the room, and it's like, for what? Really, for what? You were just as average as every other band on the show.
Yeah, lots of times you get blackballed because you're, I wouldn't say better, but like you're at a higher quality. Everybody's kind of doing the same. It comes from jealousy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a level of sportsmanship that everybody is now having that just wants to boost each other up.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in your merch table? This is what we got. How'd you do that? Oh, how'd you do this? Let's do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a lot more collaborative now,
Yes.
Yeah.
thankfully.
Mhm.
Because
For everybody else. for
Yeah.
once.
It's amazing.
And it's like
Yeah.
you said too, like that community building is imperative to this scene because it's so easy to just split half and half, and there's no
Mhm.
reason for that. Everybody should definitely support each other because if we don't have each other, like what's going on here?
Exactly. That's why, like, I'm only just starting to get back into the scene now. Um, the last band I had broke up over the pandemic, so like I haven't really been as active in the scene. But starting the podcast, I'm starting to get familiar with the key players of the Long Island music scene now. So you guys, Moon Groove Records, like I'm learning more about it because so much of it has changed. It feels like a new scene entirely, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is definitely refreshing to come back to a scene and see that like all the things that I hated for the most part are gone. So, um, ego isn't really a thing anymore. Bands leaving right after they play is barely a thing anymore. Um, it's refreshing because that's how I always wanted it to be when I was as active as I was. Is just be in a community, make friends with the people you're on a show with, use each other as a resource. There's no reason not to.
I think when we first started, we were maybe a little bit less inclined to network with people. Not for any other reason than just like our own personalities, maybe like
Right.
But as we've developed as a band and like even as people, we found that like one of the biggest things that you can do for anybody listening who's in a band or starting a band or whatever, um, take from the good that you see happening around you, and learn from the bad that's happening around you, and talk to these people. Now, if I get off, you mentioned Dylan before. If I get off stage, we'll sometimes talk about, hey, what are you doing to help your analytics and in your posts or content stuff, which is more like I said, Sarah's forte, but sharing that information, everyone can eat. There's enough to go around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have that mentality, like you have to cut. You're never going to be better by cutting someone else down.
Right.
That's not going to work. You're not going to compensate for your lack of talent by shitting on somebody else. Like it's just not. It's not going to happen, and you're just going to look like a dick in the process.
Right.
And I think
Yeah, your goal in being popular, it's actually making you less likable.
Right.
Yeah. People do that, and I think you're a joke. Like I don't know, I don't see how anyone ever thinks that that's a good idea. But when it becomes sort of like a climate that's what we all do. That's the vibe of a scene. Who the fuck wants to be part of that? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
that takes the fun. And if you don't think the audience can sense that, like, what are you doing?
It also gets to a point too, like maybe that shit would fly when you were in high school and everyone was like me, please. But it's like everyone's pushing 40 now, and it's like no one really gives a fuck.
There's no sense in gatekeeping
congratulations.
this type of stuff, you know, like just those people who want to hold everything and harness whatever knowledge that they could be passing along to other people, you know, and again, building that community and that sense of security within each other. It's like, it's just totally not cool, you know?
It's
Not
like,
a fan.
everyone wants a village, no one wants a villager.
Exactly.
That's the city.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of Dylan and analytics, that dude is one of the best out there. If there's anyone to tie up with to go over that kind of shit, Dylan is the guy. I didn't know that about him till I started working with him in the Lincoln Park thing, but dude, he's so smart with all that kind of shit. He's so good with it. So I mean, I'll just pass his name around. Like, if any bands listening to this need to work with somebody, hit up Dylan from Resist the Temptation. Dude is on point with how he does his shit. He was telling me that for the Halloween show they just did, I think it was November 1st, and out in Port Jeff, he had people flying in from all over the country to go see Resist the Temptation. And it's just a matter of working the algorithm, learning how to use things like TikTok and social media, and running his analytics to see where they're popular and who, you know. He's a very, very smart dude. So
Yeah, that's a whole other set of skills, you know?
yeah. Well, that's what he does for work too. He's in marketing, so he's
Yeah,
familiar with all this kind of stuff. But
Yeah, it makes sense.
for sure, yeah.
yeah, he's a good dude.
Big fans.
So when it comes to 2026, I know you said there's a lot of things that are on the table that you can't talk about yet. What are some of the things that you can, just to let everyone in on what's next for Uchikatsu without really spilling the beans on too much?
Yeah. Well, obviously the new record, which is entitled Violencia, uh, that's going to come out. That's going to be crazy. And the way that we're going to do that is probably the same depth method that we did when we dropped our first record. Is we'll release the songs as singles.
Okay.
Well, a few of the songs as singles, and those will be accompanied by a music video. That we do the production on.
Burning of the Witch was the first.
Burning of the Witch is actually the first single off of Violencia, so that's out already. That's a glimpse into the rest of the record. When is this gonna come out? This podcast that we're holding right now.
Probably first week of January.
Okay, so we are doing something right now. We're in production of another horror concept. So what we like to do is to promote our music, because we're just as much film people as we are music people, is we'll come up with these horror shorts all the time.
Okay.
Sarah's an actress. She's been in a few different films. Does like I said, special effects. She writes with me. These guys act in all the stuff that we do. Marie, since the very first music video we ever did, crazy little Deadite coming out of the creek.
Honestly, I absolutely love playing that character.
She loves
so
playing
much.
Deadite. So if you're an Evil Dead fan, listening to
There's
this,
so many people that-
she scares the shit out of me. But yeah, we'll be doing more of that stuff for sure. So there'll be horror shorts that are just promotional content for the record to come out, like little short horror film pieces, art pieces, and every single that we drop will likely be accompanied with a music video. We're in production right now for a song that I can talk about because we've been playing the song Rubberneck live. So if anyone's familiar with our live set over the past few months, they've heard that song. That song's going to have a music video, leaning pretty heavily into the Carnival Freak Show vibe.
Oh, cool.
So that's going to be sick. And then we may be working on something right now that is just something we've talked about doing covers for the longest time. We have just never gotten around to it, or nothing ever really stuck. But I will say that we have landed on something.
Oh, cool.
And if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right, and really pay off. So we're gonna work on a video concept to accompany that, so that when it comes out, people have something to really see, our take of it. I think when you do a cover, you should do your take on something that already exists, a piece of media that already exists.
Sure.
But we're gonna do that both visually.
Damn GoPro.
GoPro going off over there.
The
But
illusion of watch that I've set, and I have no idea how or why.
That's the G shot that I wear.
So you can be much away.
Yeah, that was my watch telling me to shut up. But yeah, so we got that going on.
So be as vague as possible, because I don't want you to drop anything that I'm not supposed to know. But do you have an idea of when the album is coming out?
I could give you a projected date, and Lawrence will fist fight me right now.
That's
On camera. I
Fly from over here.
not clickbait.
Yeah. I could say that the record is in production. I can say that the record is in production.
Hopeful for 2026.
Yeah. It's gonna come out in 2026. No, it'll likely come out while it's hot out. You know.
Yeah, that's really. I wouldn't want a specific date, because it's I don't want you guys to blow your shit up. But yeah, I was curious if it was gonna be like first half or second half, or somewhere in the middle.
Second. Yeah, definitely second. Definitely second. Yeah, so like we're gonna roll it out in a way where you probably get some singles prior to that, and that will start establishing like the new look of everything, even from like the stage look and everything that we're doing. But yeah, by like second half, we should be sitting on release of a full record.
And are you looking to do like an album release thing here at all, like a show? Or
I mean, I'm sure all records need to be supported with live performances. So yeah,
Sure.
I don't know if we'll do a grandiose, album release party or anything like that. Maybe, we'll see what the climate is or what we're feeling at the time. But yeah, we'll do something. I'm sure. And if we do it, it would probably be in New York.
Very cool.
Well,
I mean, it's fitting, but I know you said you want to kind of not oversaturate, so I don't know what your plans are for shows in New York, but hopefully we get a couple in there, because I gotta come see you guys again.
Oh, there'll be plenty, man. There'll be plenty of shows. Definitely. We're gonna. I can say this, that the next run that we do, really putting all our focus into live performance, is going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot. We're going to be doing a lot. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for everyone to come see us.
There's a Long Island show lined up that'll be announced soon.
Yeah.
So
There is definitely. I can't exactly give you the date. I mean, I can do whatever the fuck I want, but we have a Long Island date lined up.
Okay,
Actually,
cool.
Our next date lined up, and I believe that is at City Sound.
Oh, cool.
There you go. So you'll definitely see us then. We can hang out in person.
Yeah. Sounds good. But yeah, I'm not gonna keep you guys too much longer. We've already been on like hour and a half. But I do want to ask you if there's anything you could tell anyone listening about the band, about what you're about, that would make them a fan if they don't know anything about you. I mean, if they've made it this far, they should have a pretty good concept on what you're about. But
I don't know. I guess I guess if you like horror movies and you like a bunch of dorks getting together doing weird shit on stage in front of people, then you probably like us. I think if you like, I don't know, what do you guys got? What do you think? What do you think something that we could say?
I would individuality, creativity, Those are general terms, I guess. But I guess once those people who don't really know what we're about actually see what we're actually about, everybody is showcased here in different ways that I feel like it just makes people feel comfortable with being who they actually are. You're allowed to enjoy the shows as like you could be any age grabbing a pool noodle, and all of a sudden the next person to your left is a clown girl who's about to either kick your butt, or you guys are gonna have a good time doing it. Like, we're just fun. I don't know, like, if you like fun, if you don't like fun,
Right.
Hey, don't come around here if you don't like fun.
we're all about fun and creativity and art for sure. But horror movies, there's the whole horror aspect of everything. And
Haunted house band, man. It's
Yeah.
like you ever go to those haunted house attractions and you're down with that, then you can come see a version of that live in a rock show.
yeah, man, we're just different. I don't know. We're built different.
We all right, we're just doing what we like, I think if I met somebody and I had to like really summarize what we were doing, I would say just being weird, man. Being ourselves.
It's a weird thing.
Just being
Yeah.
being weird.
Yeah.
I think that one thing that's cool about us is that there's a lot of layers to what we're doing. So if you just hear a song, come up in a playlist or something and recommend it, you get to then absorb the whole visual side of it all. And then, little do you find out what the live aspect of what we do is like. And then, the music videos, they're all pretty different. They all go down different subgenres of horror, that being like a united thing. There's just a lot of layers to it. And that's because I think we're probably just a bunch of dudes and girls with ADD. Bunch of dudes and girls. Bunch of yeah. Shut up, with ADD, and we're trying to keep ourselves entertained. So, and you're watching it happen in real time. We're just throwing stuff at the wall. You know what I mean? We a lot of ideas, and a lot of sitting and thinking of why we can't do that idea. That's the process. It's no shortage of ideas around here. The conversation usually exists of like, okay, logistically, why can't we do that? Like, I should get my head cut off on stage. It's like, well, how the fuck we gonna do that, player? And we could probably figure it out, and we will, how are we gonna rip a heart out of somebody's chest? We figure that shit out, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's usually what and we're just constantly evolving. So if you came and you've seen us once, you ain't seen shit, because it's not going to be the same thing when you see us again, and that's by design. And not to be like, we're not, we're cool, we're not going to repeat the same, but we're just bored. So we're going to do like instantly, like as soon as we've done something, we're like, that's some yesterday shit, like right away. I mean, it could be the dopest shit ever. As soon as we do it, we're like, that's some old shit over there. So that we're right on to trying to do something else, pretty much to keep ourselves entertained. Like I said,
Well,
it's a lot. We're tired. Mad tired.
Song sounds so different.
Yeah, songs sound different.
We
For
live
sure.
off of
No, I
energy
did that
drinks.
already. No, I did that already.
Yeah.
well, it seems like 2026 is going to be even more fun. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to come out to another show. But I just want to thank you guys very much for doing this. It's a pleasure finally talking to you and getting you on the show. And I can't wait for the new record, Valencia, right?
Yeah.
Saying that right? Coming out sometime when it's hot out next year.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
It's warm, Yeah. Got you.
And there's a show somewhere. So
Yeah. Somewhere, and there's all that stuff.
But everyone listening, please go follow Uchikatsu on Instagram. Are you guys on Facebook?
Yeah.
Do you use Facebook? So Instagram, Facebook, anywhere else that you guys have socials. But it was a pleasure. We have Sarah, John, Jade, Lawrence, Murray. Thank you so much for hopping on with me and talking for a little bit. And I will see you guys at a show very soon.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
We
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right, thank you.
It was such a pleasure having Uchikatsu on the show today. They have got so much going on in 2026. Keep an eye open for their brand new album coming out, and make sure you go follow their socials for all updates and show announcements. They are not going to be doing too many shows on Long Island this year, so if you see one come up, get your ass to the show and go see one of the best live bands the tri-state area has to offer. I can tell you, as of right now, March 14th, City Sound in Ronkonkoma is their next one and maybe their last one for a while. You could also go to that show and see Dead Within Days. You could see Path We Choose. In Shallows and Gavel Down will also be on that show. That is a crazy lineup. Not a single bad band on the entire bill. $20 at the door, 18 for pre-sale, cash only, and there is no ATM on site. That's Saturday, March 14th at City Sound in Ronkonkoma. Big thank you again to Uchikatsu for coming on the show. I appreciate your time, and it was so good to talk to all of you. Come on again anytime you'd like. The invitation is open, but I'll see you guys at a show soon for sure. Thank you so much for checking out another episode of the Face Music Podcast, everybody. This is going to wrap things up for us today. Remember, my friends, the easiest way to help me out with making this show bigger is just as simple as telling someone you know about it. And by all means, if you have anything that you need me to shout out as well, please let me know. I'm always happy to help you grow too. But you have been listening to the Face Music Podcast. Be well, everybody. Be safe, and I will see you again next week. Peace.